Good evening, everyone. I'm Rene Knott. I want to thank you so much for joining us for the Humane Society of Missouri's virtual Yappy Hour. See what we did there? Yappy, puppies, like Buddy right here. HSMO came up with this concept to help connect animal lovers in St. Louis in a fun-loving, lighthearted way while shelters are closed to the public. I think Buddy wants to go party for the Yappy Hour. There you go, Buddy. Go ahead. Have a good time. Yeah, he's got some other puppies over there he wants to hang out with. Now, for all of you animal lovers who tuned in tonight, boy, do we have a treat for you. And in return, you can support HSMO by going to hsmo.org/Yappy Hour to see the items we are raffling off during this Yappy Hour. But first, before we introduce our special guest, let's talk about how local communities have made lemonade out of lemons during this pandemic. Our community has really stepped up to adapt animals from our local shelters. In fact, since March, HSMO has done 2,692 curbside adoptions. Way to go, St. Louis. I mean, that's big time. That's a lot of animals out there that now have their forever homes. And I know so many of my friends and colleagues adopted recently, and they are so happy to have their furry companionships while they're logging so many hours at home, hacking away on those computers. Now, our special guest is a longtime supporter of pet rescue and adoption. He's joining us to talk about what it's like to be a shelter pet parent and to talk about life as a celebrity. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Hollywood celeb and St. Louis native, Mr. Jon Hamm. Hey! Oh, I love that mask. I love that mask. Well, John, I want to say hello and thank you so much for being here. And
Thanks for having me, Rene.
Let's get this out in front right now. How about those Cardinals making it to the playoffs in 2 straight years?
I mean, here we go. I know everybody's got one screen on this and one screen on that, so let's go. Gotta win one.
And the Blues didn't do so poorly when it comes to the NHL bubble this year either, did they?
They did not, but it's hard to, it's hard to equal the success of 19, obviously. But I was glad to see Pat Maroon, another hometown guy.
Yes. I'll take a piece of that. Why not? he's from the Lou.
Still counts.
Now, besides being a huge sports fan, since you're from the Lou, you probably get asked this age-old question all the time by St. Louisans. Where did you go to high school?
Well, I went to John Burroughs High School.
Oh, my goodness.
All 6 years, 4 years of high school, and then 7th and 8th grade as well. So.
Okay. And you played a little football, I understand.
I sure did. I was, believe it or not, it was in the 80s, so people were built differently, but I was a middle linebacker and an offensive lineman, so I played both ways. It was the old days of Iron Man football.
I know what those days are like, and I'm older than you, John, by the way, just to let you know. Hey, who was your childhood inspiration?
Oh, it's an interesting question because it was interesting going to Burroughs. We did a lot of different things. So we were encouraged to be athletes, and we were encouraged to be in the arts and performing arts. We were also encouraged to excel at the STEM classes, and so I had a lot of inspiration. But I'll say mostly there were teachers that were my inspiration growing up, and it's part of why I had the desire to go back to Burroughs and teach for a year after I got out of college because I knew. I was 23 years old. I didn't have much money to my name. I knew I couldn't really donate a building or anything like that, but I knew I could donate my time, or at least give of my time, and hopefully become an inspiration to the next generation. And hopefully I did.
Yeah, I tell you, time is a very valuable thing. At what age did you know you would become an actor?
It was one of those things. I've had a lot of experience like this where I didn't really choose to do something. I just kept doing it, and then eventually it became the thing I did. And that was kind of the way it was with acting. I did it a little bit in high school, and then I was an English major in college, but then I kept auditioning for plays, and I kept getting the parts. And finally, the guy that was running the department, another one of my inspirational teachers, a guy named Jim Miller, was like, you should just do this. You're good at it, and you could have a career at it if you really want. I was like, well, all right, I'm not really doing anything else. And eventually, I made my way out to L.A. And 3 short years after I landed in L.A., I booked my first job, and then only 10 years after I landed in L.A., I got Mad Men, and then my career really started. So it's an overnight success of about 10 years in the making.
Yeah. Perseverance pays off.
It does. It's nothing good comes easy, as my grandfather used to say.
Yeah. Now, where have you been living during the pandemic?
I've been staying in my house in LA for the most part. I had one little break of that bubble when I was graciously invited by Dave Chappelle to come hang out at his compound in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and to see his. He was doing some shows there, and they're taping it for Netflix, so I contributed my meager talents to that. But it was fun. It was a nice way to break.
You're way too modest.
Go hang out on 4th of July at Dave Chappelle's house.
And I was hanging out with Dave this weekend. I'll be home later.
Not the worst.
Well, John, we understand that you recently adopted a rescue. We're obviously pleased to hear that you have a forever friend now. Tell us about your puppy.
Well, I've been looking. I had a dog for about 16 years, and she died in 2017. Went very peacefully. She was probably 17 years old. Big dog too, so we had a good long run with her, Cora. And I've been wanting to get a dog ever since then, essentially. And you got to wait for it to kind of find you sometimes. And this little puppy was found in up north of LA in a town called Lancaster, which is mostly known for having a prison. And a lot of stray dogs, I guess. But he's a big old galoof. His name is Murphy. And he's about half Rottweiler and a quarter Mastiff and a bunch of other stuff mixed in there. So he goes about 50 pounds now, and I think he's 6 or 7 months old. So he's gonna be a load. So he's getting trained up for sure.
So are you giving him table scraps or just straight puppy chow right now?
No. It's we're trying to do the right thing because if this guy gets a will of his own, he's going to be trouble. So he can already get up on the counter, and that's at 6 months old. At 2 years, he's going to be able to open the fridge.
Hey, just make sure he doesn't get the car keys.
Exactly.
How has he comforted you during these tough times?
Anybody that's on this Zoom or has ever had a pet knows they pick up on your energy, and they pick up when you're lonely, and they pick up when you're feeling sad. They pick up when you're not feeling well in general, and they're soothing, in the best way. And the other thing they do is they get you out of the house. You got to walk a dog.
Yeah.
And I live right next door to one of the biggest parks in America, Griffith Park, and urban parks anyway. And so we can go on hikes all day, and he loves it. He's got nothing but energy, and it tires him out too. So I'll throw him a bone, and he can just sleep for 2 hours after we go on a walk. And I got my workout too. So
yeah. I was going to ask you, who needs to nap after the walk, you or him?
Both. It's definitely both.
Hey, what advice do you have for others considering getting a pet?
Make sure that you have the time. It's sometimes what we see in shelters is that people decide that they want a pet, but they're not aware of the responsibility that's there, and then the pet comes back, and that's not good for anybody. But it will change your life for the better. They're a lot of work, but like we said earlier, nothing good comes easy, and once they become part of your life, you never want them to not be a part of your life.
So true. And John, you speak of responsibility, and one thing I've come to realize is that throughout this pandemic, HSMO staff never left the shelters in order to take care of the animals that remained during the shutdown. In fact, HSMO has been serving the St. Louis community and the state of Missouri for 150 years now. The staff is celebrating the organization's 150th year as one of the largest and most respected animal welfare organizations in America, John. This is incredible. This is good stuff. Now, they are truly our animal care heroes. Do you have any words of encouragement for those working in the shelters like HSMO or those working as veterinarians during this time?
I mean, it's kind of the lost frontline workers. You're doing the work. You're doing God's work essentially. It's unsung, but it's so necessary, and it's a beautiful thing. They always say that you're judged by how you treat people worse than yourself, and when you treat pets, and especially take care of shelter pets, that's something special. And I just say thank you and keep up the good work. And next time I'm in town, I'll buy you some toasted ravioli.
I might go get a job over there at the shelter just so I get some toasted wraps. Hey, what else is keeping you busy these days?
Well, you can see by my luxurious surroundings, I'm in a hotel room. I'm in Detroit, Michigan, actually. I just started working on a film, which is very weird. We're not really sure how that's going to go. You know, a lot of masks and a lot of gloves and things, but it's being directed by Steven Soderbergh and stars me and Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro and Kieran Culkin and David Harbour et al. And it's a good one. So I'm looking forward to doing that. It's my first job back at work basically since the pandemic started, since March. And we'll see. It's a brave new world, right? We don't really know what's coming up, but here we are. I hope it's trending positively.
So now this movie, is it a drama? Is it an action flick? What type of character are you?
It's kind of a little bit of both. It takes place in Detroit. It's kind of a heist film that's loosely based on a true story set in the automotive industry. So it's there's the mob, there's kind of the local cops, there's the federal folks, and then there's all the people from GM and Ford, Chevy. So it's very smart. It's very funny in places. It's very dark. It's very Steven Soderbergh. So I'm excited to get to do it.
Good guy, bad guy.
I will have to shave. I haven't started shooting yet.
So will that make you a good guy then if you have to shave? Or are you going to be a bad guy?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes no one's rooting for the good guys, but we'll see.
We always root for Jon Hamm, no matter what side of the coin he's on.
Thank you very much.
Hey, when you get a chance to visit St. Louis, what are your top 5 favorite restaurants?
Boy, I haven't been there in such a long time. I'm a sucker for tradition, and most of the places that I used to like to go are closed. But I like Annie Gunn's. Thomas Seiner's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. Is it Bar Napoli that's in Clayton?
Yeah.
Love that place. Love that dude that owns it too. He's a good dude. Oh gosh, my favorite place, I got to tell you, because it was where my very first job as a busboy. Although the original location is closed, but they still have the one in West County. Is Spiro's Greek food.
Yes.
My sister just celebrated her birthday there with her kids and her grandkids. Cool. I zoomed in on their dinner.
Those are great.
Those are my go-tos usually, but everything else I used to go to is closed.
No burger joint in there at all?
I mean, what was the place that was on Rock Hill and Lindbergh?
Now you caught me on that one. I know you're talking about. You kind of got me on that one. It's
a big root beer thing in the middle.
Yes. Oh,
that was a good one.
Okay, you and I will chat later about what that one is. So the next time you get back into St. Louis, what is the one can't miss place that you go, I have got to go visit there when I'm back in town?
Well, I usually, my visits these days are usually centered around sporting events. So remember when we could go to sporting events live? So that's usually what I do, and if it's not that, it's mostly friends' houses or these days friends' parents' houses, because all my friends are moved out and started families. But yeah, I don't really have a go-to spot anymore. Like I said, every place I used to hang out is different or change hands or I don't have a go-to spot. I mean, I always go to Sportsman's Park. Eventually, I find myself there. Just because it's convenient and it's the game's always on. So, it's one of those things, but I've been going there since I was too young to go there.
Well, at least you're honest about it. That is a cool joint, dark and private.
They can't prosecute me now.
Yeah. Now, we know that you have agreed to help many St. Louis organizations during this time, and we're so grateful that HSMO is one of those organizations. I want to thank you for your support, and we understand that you have agreed to raffle off some items for us. Now, anyone viewing can go to hsmo.org/Yappy Hour to check out the raffles. And John, tell us about a few of them, if you could, please.
Well, I think the coolest one is the. I wasn't really sure that which picture they were gonna use, but they put a cardboard cutout of me in Bush. I've been attending a few games there, so I think they're gonna put that one up for bids, and I'll sign it, of course, and whatever you want on it. But you can have a half a version of me sitting next to you on your Zoom calls if you really want. And then I think there's a virtual meet and greet and some other things on there. But yeah, they're all on the website. Check them out and don't be shy. Bid early, bid often. Why not?
You know what I would do? I'd put that cardboard cutout in my passenger seat of my car.
There you go.
And drive down the highway.
The HOV lane.
Now, John, before we let you go, let's play a quick round of hot seat. Now, while we prepare John for the hot seat, I'll remind our viewers to visit hsmo.org Yappy Hour and get in on that raffle action right now. All right, John, here we go. The object of the game will be to answer as quickly as possible these questions. So if I say wine or beer, you answer one or the other as quickly as you can. So let's begin. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Baseball or hockey?
Hockey.
Emos or deep dish?
Emos.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Fitz's or ski?
Ooh, Fitz's, I guess. I don't know what ski is.
Ski's a soda pop from the east side.
Okay.
From Breeze, Illinois.
All right.
Say
Got
Fitz's. Go with Fitz's.
one. Yeah, I did.
All right. Toasted Ravs or Ted Drew's?
Both. Mixed in a pot, in a bowl.
Big
I don't
party
care.
or small gathering?
Small gathering. I go to enough big parties. I get overwhelmed.
Okay. Adopt or shop?
Oh, adopt.
Okay.
All the way.
Nice car or nice home interior?
Man, I had crappy cars for such a long time, and I can really appreciate that. I can call anywhere home, but I gotta have a nice car.
Hey, sometimes a nice ride with the hand up, leaning back, window down, jamming some tunes, that'll work for me.
Sure. Worst case, you can live in it. I've done that too.
This is a true life story here. We're just letting it all out. I appreciate it so much. And John, finally, this is the big one. St. Louis or LA?
Well, you know, it's funny. I've lived in LA longer than I've lived in St. Louis now.
Really?
I think I'm going on about 25 years in LA. But I'll tell you, St. Louis is always home to me. It always will be. And I always look forward to coming back and visiting and seeing friends, and now seeing friends' kids, and seeing my old school and all the things that I grew up loving. So it'll always be my number one, St. Louis. It's it's a special place.
Yeah. Well, we love hearing that, John. And just so you know, anytime you want to come back and bring your pup, we St.
I'll
Louis
have to introduce the puppy to some St. Louis. That's
everybody,
for sure.
everybody, take them down to the arts grounds and everything, because St. Louis will love to have you here. We will welcome you guys with open arms. And HSMO has a few beautiful dog parks now. One's at its Backlund location, one at its Maryland Heights location. That's where you and the pup can hang out and just have a real good time.
Well, I tell you what, hopefully I can bring Murphy to the Cardinals World Series parade, and we'll do that.
I like that idea. Hopefully a parade this year. Maybe we'll be seeing you soon.
Here's hoping. They got to win tonight. That's all. Just win one in a row.
That's all you got to do. Well, John, we want to thank you so much for your continued support of St. Louis and for sharing your time with HSMO friends. You are truly a St. Louis hometown hero. Now, that's all the time we have for now, but don't forget to visit hsmo.org/Yappy Hour to get your raffle tickets. The raffle will remain open until October the 31st. It has truly been a pleasure to host this great evening with you guys. To all the animal lovers out there, we hope that this was a welcome distraction from today's challenges. And please take care, and please be well. John, we love you.
Thank you, Rene.